Everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we are going to watch and break down two different videos of things going wrong with the tail rotor in a helicopter. Two separate videos. We're going to talk about what happened, why it happened, how you can prevent it. Let's get into it. Alright, so this is the first one. This is from a Facebook channel called Danza. R44. Now, if you've already seen this video, you're going to know what happens, but this is actually pretty crazy. I think this was relatively recent. Let's watch. Alright, so many different points to discuss. I'm going to turn the sound off. Let's go through this. So R44 coming in on approach, pretty tight LZ, I will say that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with tight LZs. I've landed in some quite tight LZs, but it's interesting because this is an R44, probably a private owner, and it looks like America here. Landing in this tight of an LZ is real interesting, especially if you're not doing like something that needs it. Like helicopter, air, ambulance, we typically land in very tight LZs, or not necessarily very tight, but tight LZs. I'm not exactly sure why this R44 is doing it. It's okay, whatever. I mean, you can do it. R44 is coming in. You can see how far front the pilot is in front of the tarp. I mean, obviously we know what happens, but you can see how far in front the pilot is. Now, is he solo? It's hard to make out if he's the only one in that helicopter, but I'd venture to assume he is. One thing, I wanted to make this point, one thing that I absolutely love about helicopter air ambulance and this specific situation is I have a paramedic up front with me, typically, or the nurse, whatever, but typically it's the paramedic up front with me, and then I have the nurse in the back, and as we're coming in on approach, I have three sets of eyeballs. Everyone's looking. Three different people are looking for exact hazards like this. FOD, foreign object debris, things that come up. Anyone can call a go around. If anyone sees anything, you articulate it, you call it out. They'd be like, hey, there's a tarp right behind you. Either go around or go forward, or it would just draw my attention to it. Now, I don't know if this pilot is even aware that there's anything going on. So he's coming in, that tarp is just a problem. Hopefully someone, that's why I love helicopter air ambulance, hopefully someone on the crew or even me would notice that, but the pilot's so far forward, I don't know if he can tell. So the tarp gets dislodged. This guy over here, what is he doing? Tarp goes up, and then I imagine it's going to be the downwash that sucks that tarp in. You can see that the benefit here that happened is the R44 was already pretty close to the ground. Like, he was not super high up, so that is a blessing. So there it is. It looks like that's going to be it. It gets sucked down into the tail rotor, into the main rotor, and then wraps all the way around the tail rotor. Absolutely. I'm not exactly sure what part broke. I don't know if it was the tail rotor drive shaft or it was the gearbox, but it gets sucked in, and it's good because the helicopter is basically already on the ground when this happens. And then it drops. Look at this guy behind the truck. I'm not making fun of him, but like, oh my gosh, like that's quite dramatic. Let's watch it one more time. Coming in, really stable approach. I like the descent rate, very healthy, very controlled. I think the pilot just has no idea. Can you imagine coming in on an approach and then your tail rotor just fails? Good thing he was already close to the ground because there was no big yaw movement. And then the tail rotor totally just stops. Yeah, so something severed. Either the tail rotor drive shaft, the gearbox, something broke. And so there's a couple different takeaways with this. One thing, when you're landing off airport, you got to check for FOD, and you want to watch out that there's no objects, no tarps, no wires, any of these big obstacles pilots commonly talk about. You want to make sure that there's no big obstacles. But this is just a really challenging situation because the pilot's already pretty far forward. He's focused on the approach. He's focused on making sure that he's lined up where he needs to be, and he just doesn't see that tarp. Is this avoidable? Yes, it's avoidable, but things also just happen. you get on these Facebook groups and you get in these group chats and people are so negative. They're like, oh, I would have never done this. Oh, the pilot's so stupid. No, the pilot, I mean, is this avoidable? Yes. And should the pilot have been aware? Yes. And is this the best landing zone? Definitely not. But did the pilot necessarily do anything wrong? No, I don't think so. If he doesn't know the tarp is there, I mean, it's like a really unfortunate situation, but I don't think the pilot caused the error here. It shouldn't have happened. It's preventable, but sometimes things just happen. All right, now this is the second one. This one is definitely a little bit crazier. This is helicopter air ambulance. This is what I do, so I mean, I can speak to a little bit more. But I mean, once again, you know what? Let's watch it first, and I'll tell you my thoughts. Let's turn it up. Now, I think this one is coming from Claude Richard and his program, so I'm going to give them credit for this video. Come on. Is that it? That's it. All right, so we'll go back to the start here. So obviously a scene called Helicopter Air Ambulance. Initial thoughts on the LZ here is like, this is a pretty tough LZ landing zone. This is a helicopter air ambulance on the middle of a back winding road on the side of a hill. This is pretty challenging. Now the pilot obviously got into it, and from this perspective, it's hard to make out how tight it is. He's not really on the road. He's kind of off to the side a little bit, and it's just a really tough LZ. Now, when I go to LZs, you know, we like to tell the fire departments who set up our landing zones that we need like 100 by 100. We can accept smaller than that, but we want a large rectangle. And this is probably technically within the margins, but it is a quite challenging LZ, but within the realm of possibility. Now, he's pretty far over to the right. It would have been better if he was a little bit closer to the left. What we know is that he's going to climb and his tail rotor is going to get caught in these trees. So let's just watch and break it down as we go. So he's climbing. He's real close to those trees kind of already. It would have been, it's hard to tell from this perspective, but it definitely would have been better if he was to the left. This is tough. This is tough. Right there. Well, as I'm thinking through this, the question I have, and I'm going to pose this to you, the viewer, is it better in this situation to have a fenestron, or is it better to have an exposed tail rotor? I don't know, because there's no big yaw change when the helicopter comes down. I wonder if the tail rotor was still producing thrust. So it comes up, and you can hear something break in there. Let's go through it again. Coming up. Everything's good. Coming up, coming up, coming up. He turns his tail rotor a little bit, and then it, right there is where it happens. Going up through. Cameraman runs away. Okay, so. Does the tail rotor continue to produce thrust, or was that yaw movement due to the tail rotor losing thrust? So it yaws pretty hard. And then the pilot lowers the collective, gets it down on the ground. And once you've lowered the collective all the way, you've pretty much eliminated all thrust. Is an exposed tail rotor better? I would say an exposed... I don't know. I don't know what's better. The finish... I don't know what would have handled this better. Because if you have an exposed tail rotor, like on any... the helicopter I fly, the AW119, a Bell 407, any of those, you have that exposed tail rotor, which is more meaty, it's more powerful, it's got more tail rotor authority. But as you come up, if you break that tail rotor, anything in that gearbox or the tail rotor breaks or malfunctions, you've lost everything. In the Fenestron, you do have that shrouded and protected tail rotor. Now, it does suck in trees and branches in there. I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is. I don't know if it's better. But okay, so back to the point of the video. What do I think about this? This was preventable. This one, I feel a little bit. I feel a little bit differently to this one than I do the other one. I think the other one was more unfortunate and a little bit harder to prevent, and the pilot probably didn't have as great of a chance. With this, the pilot of this helicopter is really close to the trees, and he probably could have been a little bit further away. I don't know. I think this one's probably more preventable. The other thing that's kind of interesting to think about, in the Bell 407 that I flew prior to my helicopter ambulance job, we had a camera in the back. So it was like a backup camera, and I would use that quite a bit, and it sat like right here so you could see the tail rotor. I don't know if that would have totally prevented it. I mean, you could have seen what the tail rotor was getting into, but once you've already started to go straight up and into the trees, I don't know if that's really going to make a difference. I think this was probably quite preventable. The pilot should have been aware that those trees were that close. You know, when I'm flying, I always say, all right, right before we take off, I say, we're clear left, clear right, clear above. It's hard to turn all the way behind you, and we don't have rear view mirrors. Some helicopters kind of do, but it's not really like very common. This is tough. As the pilot came in, if he shut down, when he shut down, he should have taken a mental picture of what the trees are, and he probably should have been a little bit closer to the left. But the main point I wanted to make with this is, sometimes things just happen. They are preventable. You can't get accidents and incidences all the way down to 0%. You know, per however many thousands of flight hours, you're going to have some incidents. You can't absolutely eliminate it. The goal of the industry is and should be to not prevent accidents and not stop accidents and incidences, but lower the severity. This is like the perfect example. Like, this should have been prevented, but luckily everyone survived in this situation. The pilot actually did a really good job. He should not have gotten the tail rotor so close to the trees that it sucks the trees in. But once that happened, he got the collective down, he got it flat, and he got the engine shut off. That's all you could ask for. You know, it's not ideal that this happened, but you can't totally prevent incidences. In accidents, it's not doable. You just got to lower the severity, and no one in this died. That's definitely survivable. Sucks for everyone on board, sucks for the pilot, sucks for the company. It's a beautiful helicopter, looks really new, just gorgeous, and really unfortunate, but it does happen and it's preventable. Wow, look at that beautiful EC-145. Oh, that's so, with the 5 blades. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's really unfortunate. But things happen. So the point of this video is, to all the pilots out there, we know we gotta be watching for FOD, foreign objects. We know we gotta watch for obstacles. But things happen. I don't want to make excuses for the industry, but I want people to be aware that things happen, and it's not necessarily always just like, oh, that's a bad pilot. No, the pilot was a little bit too close in this situation and made a mistake. In the other situation that tarp came up, he could have seen it, and it would have been better if he saw it. But sometimes things just happen. It's okay. We can implement policies and procedures, but things just happen. We just want to minimize the amount of severe injuries and deaths in the industry. That's my takeaway. But I want to know your thoughts. What do you think? Do you think that this accident was preventable? Do you think the pilots should have done anything different in this video or the previous video? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and I will see you on the next one. Take care.